Hello, and welcome to our newest episode of Morgana Radio, where I, your host, Morgana Ray, interview the world's most fascinating thought leaders on money, love, and magic. And if you are a coach or a healer or any kind of conscious entrepreneur, you are going to love today's interview. I've been a coach, a professional coach, for over 20 years now. And what I've noticed is it tends to fall into two really distinct camps. You have your amazing healers and coaches, super talented people, artists, do-gooders who suck at marketing and getting clients. And you are the people that your clients need the most. And then on the other side of the spectrum, and I'm totally speaking out of school, the best salespeople in these industries, especially personal development, tend to be the crap coaches with the least to offer. Awful, and they resent their clients, and they're aggressive, and they're judgy and not helpful, but man, they love the marketing and the sales. And so the reason I am bringing today's guest, Minette Riordan, to you is because I really want the do-gooders of the world who have fear and loathing around marketing. We need you. We need you to get your gift out there in the world. So, my solution to those coaches and gurus who shall remain nameless is to seek out the good guys and shine a light on them. And that's why I created Morgana Radio. So let me tell you about today's guest. So, Minette is an award-winning entrepreneur and best-selling author of The Artful Marketer, the fundamental business guide for creative entrepreneurs. Dr. Minette Riordan successfully built a multimedia publishing company, turning a small quarterly newspaper into a monthly magazine, really, really hard to do, with a circulation of 50,000 copies. When she first started her business, Minette knew nothing about marketing and sales. Surprise, surprise. But what she soon realized was that building relationships, being curious, and listening to people are the keys to success. So while growing her business to over 6 figures, she discovered that what she actually loved was teaching other business owners how to avoid getting burnt out and overwhelmed by fear. She's now a successful business coach who helps entrepreneurs and small-time business owners break through barriers, exceed their financial goals, yay, and create an ideal work-life balance. And she's going to be teaching us today marketing magic, 5 secrets to a successful marketing plan. And some of the things you're going to learn is why your current marketing plan isn't working, the one shift you must make now in order to gain marketing traction, the 3 P's of marketing magic, and how to create the perfect marketing mix. Welcome, Minette. I'm so thrilled to have you here.
So glad to be here. Thanks. It's super fun to be talking to you about magic and money. I love that we both love those topics.
By the way, for those of you who are listening in on iTunes, this interview is also being recorded video, which you can see at morganaradio.com. And the only reason I bring it up is because the art in the background is so gorgeous. I really didn't know that. Is this your painting or your husband's?
Yeah, they're all mine.
Oh my God, beautiful, beautiful stuff. So you totally want to check out the art, the visual cues, and all the things that happen that don't make it to sound.
And the board, right? It's all there.
Yeah, great. So let's dive in. How did you get into marketing?
So my background is I have a doctorate in Spanish. I was a specialist in 19th and 20th century Latin American poetry. Thought I was going to be a college professor. And you kind of follow life on the journey where it takes you. I ended up teaching at a private high school for troubled teens for a few years and followed my husband's job to Texas, and just started looking around for something to do. So at the time I had two little kids, Morgana, and I was not a good stay-at-home mom. I didn't get a doctorate to stay at home, and yet I really wanted the freedom and flexibility to be with my kids as much as possible. So I wanted it all. I wanted to have a thriving marriage, I wanted to be with my kids, and I wanted to have a business that was making great money. So I ended up starting a parenting magazine. I knew nothing about media, about marketing, about sales, about any of it. I just thought, there's nobody doing this in my community. There's a lot of parents like me with young children, and how hard can it be?
Good question. How hard could it be?
It was really hard.
Uh,
It was really hard. The business took off like a rolling stone. It went really fast. We really grew quickly, much faster than I anticipated. And I always felt like I was chasing it, never really like I was leading it. And as great as it all looked from the outside, winning the awards, it was growing really fast, we weren't making a profit. I was working really hard with not a lot to show for it.
Ding, ding, ding. That's such a big thing. Yeah.
I am so passionate about helping women make a profit in their businesses today. So what I discovered was that I actually love marketing. I love sales. I'm really good at them. At the time, I wasn't very good with the money piece. And that was my big turning point, was sitting down with my accountant one time. And we had grossed like $350,000 that year. And she told me, she's like, Minette, you should have paid yourself $77,000 this year. And I looked at her and I said, where's my money? I really didn't know. It was not a very empowering moment in my life or my money history. But we turned it around. We sold it. We moved to beautiful Santa Barbara, California, launched our thriving coaching business. So things have been great, but it was a long journey along the way. But what stayed, what I learned from that, was how important marketing and sales are, and how many people struggle with it when they really don't have to struggle with it. That it can be fun and it can feel like magic.
So, what is the number one mistake that you see people making in their marketing that is just keeping them in the hole, burnt out, not profitable?
They don't know who their ideal client is. It's really actually very simple. That people, especially the do-gooders, as you call them, and the holistic practitioners and the healers and the coaches, we all feel so called to help the whole world. And when we try to help the whole world, we end up burnt out and overwhelmed. And people aren't saying yes to us because we're not clear about who we can help and how we can help them. And so it sounds so counterintuitive, but the more you narrow your focus, the more successful you are. Like visiting your website, learning more about you, you're so clear about who your audience is and what type of language attracts them. Your branding is so clear. And when you look at your website compared to somebody who's in their first couple of years in business, that clarity isn't there. You know, I have a young woman right now who's trying to fill a retreat in India next year, and she's trying to solve 15 problems for people, and it's not clear. So I'm reading her copy, and I'm going, I don't know who this is for. I'm like, the India part sounds cool, but I have no idea what I'm going to get out of this. So it makes it difficult for the right people to say yes when you don't know who it is those right people are.
Yeah, well, it's funny you mentioned my site. I have 3 totally different kinds of people I'm speaking to, so I had to break it down to 3 totally different pathways.
Yeah.
Otherwise, I attract so many people who are in financial crisis, but those aren't necessarily the people who are best for one-on-one coaching. You know, so I want to send them where they're going to get what they need without putting that extra financial stress on them.
Right. Yeah, that's so, and so I know, so I had the opportunity to interview Morgana recently for our podcast with my husband and I as well. And it was one of the things we noticed immediately was how clear it was when I got to your website where to start. And I love that you said Brad and I also in our business have 3 different profiles where in multiple ways that people can gain access to us and our information. But it all hinges around some really core elements around those ideal clients.
Yeah. How do you help people really hone in on who their ideal client is?
That's a great question. So I actually use a guided visualization process as one of the starting points to help them get really clear. Some of the common questions people can ask, though, is just reflecting back throughout your life, throughout your work that you've done, and the clients you have currently, who's your favorite and why? Right? Sometimes just paying attention to the top 2 or 3 of your favorite clients, and it never ceases to amaze me when I say, who's your favorite client, or who, when I say that, can instantly raise your hand and say, oh yes, I see them. We know who those people are. And we forget to include some of those key elements. Like usually our favorite clients, it's a heart match, we're attracted to them, we're great at solving their problems, but they also pay on time. They show up for their coaching sessions. They take care of the practical as well as connect on the personal level. So just noticing, what do they have in common? Where do they spend their time? What are their hobbies? What is their age range? So I don't know about you, but in our ideal client profiles, we have different age ranges that are being attracted to us, and they have different needs. Like these people that say, oh, I work with women from 35 to 85, right? You cannot market to that age range, right? You know, you really have to narrow in. The 35-year-old, the 55-year-old, and the 65-year-old are all in different places, both in person and online as well. So the more we focus, the more successful we become.
I also find it changes. Like
Yes.
suddenly I have all these amazing women in the tech world. Like my favorite clients are in these super masculine, brainy, big data, financial, it's like, who knew? Because
They need your magic.
yeah, because my history is lots of women with purple silk and crystals, but everybody has this, I think, underlying spiritual quality. I call them closet mystics, regardless of what they're doing on the outside. So,
One of my friends called it rude curious, and I love that term.
ooh, I like that.
She's like, I'm rude curious. I totally get that.
So we start with ideal client and looking at who your favorite client is already, and maybe even if you don't have clients, who you were. Yeah.
You've helped friends,
Totally.
who shows up in your life around you, right? It's
Beautiful.
just noticing, what do people naturally come to you for is a great starting place. And yes, it absolutely evolves over time, and it gets clearer and clearer the more clients that you get.
So once you know who your dream client is, the person who, oh, I wish I could just have 20 of him or her, then what is the big shift to make now to get more traction?
So most of us tend to have our marketing be very me focused. Here's what I do. Here's all the offers that I make. Here's all my cool, big bang products and services and all the different things that I love to do. And we're not focusing on what are the key problems of our clients and how can we best solve those problems for them. So it has to be this beautiful match between what your unique brilliance is, like what you're best at, and who needs that most in the world. I heard this great quote by Frederick Buechner about we have to find the place where our happy place meets the world's hunger. And I love that, right? About looking for what's deeply satisfying to us. There has to be a need for that out in the world as well. And so, again, it's focusing on what do they need? Not what do we want to create, but what do they need from us? And that's when the magic really starts to happen, is when you're clear about who they are, what their problems are, and why you are the perfect person to solve that problem for them.
So, what are the 3 P's of marketing magic?
It's just a continuation of this whole conversation. It's pains, problems, and predicaments. They're not positive P's. When we really want to get to people where they are and help them move closer to us in the decisions, we have to understand where they're sitting. We have to stand in their shoes and really see the problems in their head. What's keeping them awake at night? And when we can speak to those pains, when people can show up just on the homepage of your website and go, oh, she gets me, she's speaking directly to me, that's the magic. And it all starts with understanding what are their biggest pains, problems, and predicaments. Because most of us are walking through life going, can you help me? Can you help me? We're not walking through life just looking for, can I spend money? Can I spend money? We're really walking through life looking for support. We're focused on ourselves, not on anyone else.
Now, there are what seems like a gazillion of us serving the same kinds of people. And I would say that that is true for anyone in any kind of business, that there's a lot of competition to serve the same problems and the same people. And how do you stand out from the crowd?
Be authentic. It sounds cheesy and trite and overused, but the more you are, the easier it is to attract the people that are a match. So for me, the biggest shift was realizing after I let go of my publishing company and I thought, oh, I don't want to talk about marketing and sales ever again, right? It's boring. I'm just going to go over here and do my creative stuff. I'm going to go work on my art. I'm going to be a creativity coach and help people get in touch with their creativity. And then everybody started showing up. A lot of my old contacts in Texas saying, but you're so good at marketing. I need your help. And so I had to look at how could I truly integrate what I love most into what I was also really good at, to package it in a way that was playful, fun, and impactful for my clients. And so the shift for me was in realizing that it was wholly integrating all the different parts of me that I started to really connect with the right clients. So all my clients, like you said, yours have the underpinning of spirituality. Mine are all super creative. They're creative entrepreneurs with too many ideas, and they want to know how to focus on the ideas that make them money. And so just noticing that the more creativity and the more play I bring into my business, the more money I make and the more money my clients make.
And now I hear what makes you different. Yeah. How do you help people? And that's such great advice, but it really makes me wonder how. How do you help people become more themselves? I think that's the $1 million question.
It is the $1 million question, and I think there's a million ways to do it as well. In my case, I start everybody off with 2 steps. The first one is we have a really fun assessment called the Unique Brilliance Indicator that we share with people and help them really identify their strengths, their challenges, their opportunities for growth based on their core temperament and who they've been throughout their lives. Not who maybe they had to become if they've been in corporate, or who they are as a mother and a wife, but who are they at their core, and how do they bring that more fully into their business. And then the second one is looking at their core values, because I think our core values often have a lot to say about how we show up in the world. And when we are finding it really challenging to make decisions, it's often because we're out of alignment with our values. And when we clearly articulate our core values in our brand and in our marketing, we also get clients who are a match. I believe that building a profitable business is an inside-out proposition. And most people try to start it from the outside, like picking a money goal or picking a client or picking an industry. And the truth is it has to start from inside.
Oh, yeah, especially like the picking the clients. I see so many people with a 45-year-old making X amount of money, and it's just so artificial, and it just reads to me like, I hope this person will pay me. And it's not any real like soul connection. And what you said about values. Oh, I think our values are like she who will be obeyed. And when you compromise them, you're going to be tripped. Because your values will be obeyed. If you value love, if you value fun, if you value freedom, if you value service, and making money is fighting with those things, the money will suffer. Yeah.
And it's also people try so hard to follow the business in the box model. There's a lot of big name people out there selling, do it my way and you'll get rich quick. And yes, and it doesn't work. It doesn't work, and it especially doesn't work for creatives. Because creatives are brilliant at, well, let me try this, and let me try that, and let me try this, and squirrel. And so it's all about helping them to understand how to use their own creative gifts and their own creative processes to build a business that's not just a match for who they are, but makes them magically attractive to the perfect client. Because we know how much fun it is to work with the right clients and how painful it is to work with the wrong clients.
By the way, I really appreciate that about you, because every now and then I see red when I see some coach friend post about how, their clients don't do what they're told. And that's not coaching. And honestly, I've never made a penny doing what I'm told.
Nope.
But
I resist being told to do
I'm a good student. I will do it. I will go out and do it with everything I have and not get anywhere because it's me being somebody else.
Yeah.
And
That's authentic piece,
yeah.
right? Is being true to yourself.
So what I hear is you're actually coaching people.
Yeah.
Yay!
Coaching them in a super fun, creative way. Everything I do involves crayons and markers and big sheets of paper because business is hard. Marketing is challenging, and the more playful and fun we can make it, then the more likely we are to do the parts that we don't enjoy as much. The coaching piece is easy for most of us,
Yeah.
but the business pieces can be really challenging.
Yeah, well, what if we made marketing as much fun as coaching?
And it is.
Okay. So, how do we create this perfect marketing mix?
So by really focusing in on what I consider to be 3 key areas of marketing, I think we tend to focus on only 1 or 2 and not have an even balance of all 3. I actually have a whole color wheel marketing plan that I share with people to understand how to create the mix. But there's online marketing, which is everything people are doing with their websites and social media and even a radio show like this one. There's also everything we do in person, networking, live events, speaking. And then there's referral marketing, which could be either asking clients for referrals, building strategic relationships, or in the coaching industry, joint ventures and affiliate marketing are popular. But I see so many people making a couple of big mistakes, Morgana. They either rely totally on word of mouth, and which is passive. Yes, we all love referrals and we all love to get clients, but unless you're proactively asking for referrals, someone who says, "Oh, I only work word of mouth," is sitting back waiting for business to come to them. They're not proactively building relationships and connecting with their clients and asking for what they need. And as women in business, I think one of the most important skills that women have to learn is how to ask. And then there's the people who think, "Oh, I could be at home hiding behind my computer and I can get rich on social media."
That's me.
You're visible. You're so visible. You have your radio show. You do speaking. You do live events, right?
Well, I do my little live events in Bali. Yeah. And I do public speaking. But I love the internet because I get to stay home.
It's the balance.
Yeah.
It's the balance. You and I met in person for the first time, gosh,
It's
almost
true.
a year ago now at the JV retreat, right? And so it was that, you were there connecting with your peers and masterminding. And so we need that human connection. It's why Meetup has been such a huge sensation worldwide, because it brings people together face to face. And I think people are longing for that connection, and Facebook has given us a really false sense of being connected with each other. Is it great for business? Yes, but it's not the fastest way to business. The fastest way to business is the old-fashioned way of meeting someone for coffee or connecting with them by phone.
Yeah, and what happens if Facebook deletes your account?
Did that happen to you?
No, but I know people it has. You can't rely on any one thing for everything.
No, exactly. And I think that's the key, is that everything works a little bit. And sometimes one thing works better than the other. Sometimes it's another thing. But it's about having a few tactics and strategies in all 3 of these key areas so that you have money flowing in abundantly from everything that you're doing when you're being really strategic about it.
I want to know, what is your favorite client success story?
My favorite client success story. So I just had one this week that I absolutely love. So this is a young woman that started working in our group program a year ago. She is a queer woman of color. She's an intuitive healer and coach. And I watched her really struggle with claiming her community of queer women as her coaching community. She was just wanting to help all women and every woman, and she wasn't getting clients, and she was really scared. So once she really claimed queer women geniuses as her tribe.
Ooh.
Isn't that brilliant? She's so amazing. So she went from making no money to making thousands of dollars a month in her clients. But I think the best success was one she shared actually on our call yesterday, where she said that she went to a networking event. So I've been nurturing her to get out and be with her people in her community. And it's an event, it was the host of the event was having an event she wanted to speak at. She went to the event. She loved it. The panel was awesome. It was all her people in the room, all these amazing women of color. And she said she sat there and she thought for a moment about introducing herself to the event host, and she got nervous. She went out of the building down 12 stories to her car, right? Got all the way to her car, and she said, she gave herself a talking to. She said, you know, F you, right? This is not what you need to be doing. And she literally turned around, went back into the building, up the 12 floors, went up, introduced herself to the event host. The event host fell in love with her instantly, went to her website, asked for a free consult with her, one of her visioning sessions, potentially could turn into a client for her, and is going to book her to speak at one of her events in the future.
Awesome.
Because she just had the courage, right? Had the courage to say, this is who I am, this is what I do, and I can't let my fear get in the way. So she really has managed that shift from that place where her commitment to her own success is bigger than her fear.
Oh, beautiful story. I really believe that, like, my mantra is your wealth is in your weirdness.
Yes, I love that.
And that's scary.
So scary. Yeah, because she didn't feel safe.
Well, and by the way, there are a lot of other coaches who would have steered her in the opposite direction. Thank you for taking a stand for who she is in the world. So you have an awesome gift for our audience posted at morganaradio.com. I love it. It's called Money, Meditation, and Mandalas. Can you tell us what you have for us?
Yeah, so it's just a fun 7-day free e-course on manifesting abundance, using affirmations, but also being very intentional in your actions. Every day you're coloring a mandala, creating actions, affirmations, celebrating success. I'm a huge total addict to mandalas. Like everything I do has my mandalas on the cover.
So hold that up again for the people who are tuning in the video. Oh my God, that's beautiful. Oh yeah.
On the cover of the program.
Yeah.
Well. So it's 7 simple steps every day to just really connect with your own sense of manifesting abundance. Because what I find when it comes to women and money is they don't want to think about it. They're numb to their numbers. And when we can just stay present to the fact that I am a money magnet, then we just start to manifest more and more and more. We have a great Facebook group for the course where people can share their mandalas. Super fun, super playful,
beautiful.
but also super profitable.
Oh yeah, well, people will do what is fun. And that creates momentum and that creates results. I also believe that the more we can tie our profit to our pleasure, magically the bigger our profit gets. So, thank you so much. My people are going to love you. I think this is just the grooviest gift. And I will see you again in person in December. Yeah.
Looking forward to it. Thank you so much, Morgana.
Thank you.